Well, it's still, there we go. All righty. Back again. Oh my goodness. Well, isn't this fun? Says Michelle. She's all alone standing there. The cheese stands alone. All righty. I always worry about starting again because I don't have enough folks joining us. We shall see. Here we come. I'm here, says Susan. Thanks for having a good attitude, Joette and Perry. Hi, Rajna. Hi, Elvira. So fun. Here we go. Hi from Bel Air Beach. We're going to start over again. I mean, not completely. I will consolidate my information so that we can a little bit longer tonight, so no worries. I normally teach a gateway class. I don't have one tonight. So let's just see what we can do without worrying about the time. All right. Yeah. I'm back. Hi, everyone. Hi, you're back too. Yes, here we go. So, coffea cruda. So now imagine you've had too much coffee and you're talking really fast and you're thinking really fast and oh my gosh, your mind is racing and oh for goodness sakes, you can't stop walking and talking and you're driving everybody around you crazy because your brain is going crazy and your heart is palpitating out of your chest and it's racing and everything is going too fast or actually everything's going too slow because you're really going much faster than everybody else and you're talking and thinking and thinking and talking and maybe you've had too much chocolate or you've had too much coffee or you've had a drug that's caused this. Coffea cruda is a great medicine for it. A drug can cause this. Taking a drug, like Benadryl, and so this can cause trouble because it's overstimulating. Anything that overstimulates to the point where the person is going a mile a minute and they're thinking and they're talking, etc. We want to think of this gorgeous, simple concept of a medicine called coffea cruda. Now, I have never used coffea cruda in any potency except a 200. Not that I can recall anyway. I find the coffea cruda 200 is so powerful, so gentle, so lovely that I've never had to use anything else. And so it's a great medicine for insomnia, but it's a certain kind of insomnia. You know how when you drink too much coffee, most people who drink too much coffee fall asleep but wake up and then fall asleep and then wake up again. It's almost like their body's not allowing them to let go. So that is a very common problem for people who drink too much coffee or have had too much chocolate. And so that's the kind of insomnia that coffea is particularly useful for. It doesn't mean it can't be an insomnia that is as a result of just not being able even to let go at all in the very beginning, but particularly when the person falls asleep and then wakes, That is a call for coffea 200. And so what you do is we normally, let's say this happens on a regular basis, and let's say it has nothing to do with ever drinking coffee ever in this person's life whatsoever. Nonetheless, this is what's happening. So we give them coffea 200. I'm trying to act coffea like tonight. We give them coffea 200 twice daily. Now, generally, we don't give it in the morning, but sometimes we do. And then we give it generally closer to bedtime or at bedtime, and then perhaps save the second dose for when the person wakes up at 3 in the morning or 1 in the morning or 4 in the morning, whatever it might be. Then they take the coffea 200 again, and that usually helps them fall back to sleep. And it calms things down. All right. I'm able to see Joette in a new window on Vimeo. Well, apparently, some people can see me and some people can't, but that's okay. We're just going to a video on Vimeo, we think. So we're just going to keep going, and we're going to pretend everything's going to be fine. And if not enough, Facebook is blocking, we think. Yeah, because look, we can't even open. I'm looking, I can't get to it. Can't get there from here.
That's why you have mighties.
Yeah, that's why we have mighties, my friends. That's why we have mighties, because we knew this was inevitable. It's going to happen to everybody, for crying out loud. It's just a given. So, yeah, Facebook there's a block. We've had these problems before too. Okay, still no Facebook. Okay. So This is great for after having too much coffee. This is great for never ever having coffee, but feeling as though you have. This is great for too much chocolate, too much, something that's too stimulating, a drug that was taken, an allergic reaction to something that is causing these symptoms, excitability and overreactivity. So I'm going to read from my Materia Medica right now, and I'm going to read, consider this remedy when sudden emotions, chiefly pleasurable surprises, cause wakefulness and a racing mind. So I didn't say that, but I'm glad I'm saying it now because that is important too, because it can be from strong emotions that this kind of behavior or these sensations come forth. Think of a child who cannot get to sleep on Christmas Eve. The mind is busy, very excited. Or the night before a birthday celebration, they're just too excited to sleep. Insomnia can occur both before and after midnight. All the senses can be more heightened, and then maybe a sensitivity to noise, taste, touch, and smell. These individuals are on the go and they find relief when lying down. They may be chilly when in the open air and find comfort and relief from warmth. Okay. So busy thoughts. I would use this. Many people consider this, well, if it didn't work the first time they took it, then it's not going to work at all. Don't look at it that way. Give it some time, this coffee at 200 for insomnia in particular. Okay. Because it is very important to give these medicines an opportunity. And as I said, once or twice a night, in a 24-hour period. And sometimes it means that you have to take it twice in an evening, once in the early evening before bed, and then in the middle of the night, should it still be needed. Any stimulating drug when you see this, or you can also see it sometimes in a newborn baby. Yes, coffee for a newborn baby because the mother had drugs during the labor. And so because of that, it can be very useful. And again, do not worry about potency. It's 200C. That's the potency, 200C. Now, just because it's a baby doesn't mean we go lower. I'm sorry. I don't agree with that thinking. I believe instead that we use the protocol. And the protocol is coffee at 200 twice daily, perhaps only once. Would you use this for children? Absolutely. It's just what I'm talking about, even a newborn. You've got it. Now, what's another great use for coffee cruda? There's a lot of itching in related to coffee cruda, and it's particularly valuable for when someone has itching at night or itching that wakes them at night. Now, we automatically, if we find someone who has itching that is waking them at night, we must think of coffee cruda. It's an absolute. And by doing so, it can also help with the itching that's happening during the day. So it doesn't mean that it's only itching at night. It means that it's itching at night is at least one of the conditions that's prominent. And then the itching during the day will also fall to the wayside to a certain degree as well. Now, it's not the only medicine we have for itching, is it? It's not the only medicine we have for insomnia. It's not the only medicine we have for overexcitability. It's not the only remedy we have for anxiety, but it's a good one. It's particularly a good one because we live in a world in which most people drink coffee and drink a lot of it. And no worries if you do drink coffee. You can still have your cup of coffee in the morning and still take this homeopathic medicine later on for sleep or anxiety or for itching. Got that? You do understand that. Wow. What about pregnancy itching? Well, if the itching is happening at night and it wakes the person, then does it matter if she's pregnant or if she's premenopausal or postmenopausal or if she's a 12-year-old? We're not talking about pregnancy. It's all about these conditions. So if what you're saying is, are you worried about taking it during pregnancy? I would not give it a thought. I wouldn't. In fact, I actually took coffee at 200 during pregnancy. Heart palpitations. Yes, thank you. Because imagine the heart's thumping because you've had too much coffee or you've had too much chocolate. So it's from a stimulus. Heart palpitating horribly after being given Benadryl. You get a bee sting. You don't know enough yet to use homeopathy for a bee sting. And so you're getting swelling and you're on your way to the hospital and they give you an injection and the injection makes you feel like your heart's going to thump right out of your chest. Coffee at 200. That's when you're going to use it. Itching from fungus, it doesn't matter. It does not matter. See, what you're doing is you're saying, well, maybe in my circumstance, it won't help. I'm giving you the broad picture. It doesn't matter if it's from fungus or eczema or psoriasis or an unknown or no rash at all. It is itching at night. Got it? Guilty as charged. Chocolate, says Linda. You bet. Absolutely. But it really, I want you to, before you start using this medicine, I want you to read up on it. You really need to understand these medicines so that you really know where where you're going with this. If someone says itching from fungus, so that must mean, it probably means an athlete's foot that's itchy at night. Yes, it could be that. But you also want to see maybe a little something else in there that, give it two legs to the stool and maybe even a third leg. The second leg to the stool could be that the person is talking really quickly the way I am right now and tonight, or the person's mind can't calm down, or they can't stop thinking about the same thing over and over. It's like a broken record in their mind, or they've had too much stimulating drinks or foods. Got it? Oh, Benadryl makes me hyper. No kidding. That's exactly what it does. And that's when one would use it. Yep. Antimonium crudum fungus. Hi, Harry. You bet. Now, another medicine that works like this too, in many ways, is, and somebody said it earlier, is Nux Vomica. Yes, Nux Vomica is a good medicine for this, for the same kinds of things, but there's a little bit of a differentiation. Nux Vomica usually has a gut issue related to it, so there could be nausea, there could be diarrhea or constipation or alternating between the two. There could be, let's see, anger. Coffee is not really angry as much as they are busy in the brain. Now, Nux Vomica can also be busy, but they're usually feeling as though somebody or something is an impediment to their action moving forward. And so Nux Vomica can also be very useful for this too. And I've had people contact me. Oh my gosh, it feels like I'm going to have a heart attack. My heart is thumping outside of my chest practically. This is horrible. I can't stand it. My first question is, what was extrinsic? What was coming in from the outside? Let's go over it. What did you do today? What did you take last night? What did you eat yesterday? Well, it was around Easter and I had a lot of chocolate. Or I went to, I got an injection. Or I just started a new allergy drug. Or I had hot cocoa for breakfast this morning, and then I had a cup of coffee, and then I had a chocolate bar, and then I took my allergy drug. There we go. Coffea cruda 200. And so what's so lovely about it is that when that situation I just described isn't acute, meaning this is not something that's happening to this person necessarily chronically. It's not chronic insomnia. This is something that happened in incidents worth of these kinds of conditions. And with those kinds of incidences, with these kinds of conditions, now we're going to call it an acute, and we're going to expect the medicine to work right away. We're going to expect this Coffea 200 to work pretty quickly. Yep. What about horrible heart palpitations due to the injection? Grandmother laid down for 3 days due to violent palpitations. Yeah, I would definitely consider something like this. But there are other medicines too for these reactions. I hope that these reactions are waking people up to the dangers. I know it's happening. I know people have said, oh my God, I jerked in taking that. I should never have done that. Or I had the first one, then I had the second one. Now they're talking about what? A third one? Wait a minute. And I just got sick with the disease? I don't think so. Okay, true, Joette. When those women called and thought they were dying, and you chose Nux Vomica in the past and not Coffea, it's hard to know what to choose when someone is thinking they're going to die. When someone is certain they're dying, it's different than saying, I feel like I'm having a heart attack. Those are different words. I'm dying. I'm dying. This is it. By this afternoon, I'll be gone. You'll be planning the funeral tomorrow. That's aconitum. That makes it super easy. Super easy. It really is not as hard as you might think. Let's see. Meaning they ate too much they ate too much chocolate. Or listen, you were able to have a chocolate bar or 2 every day after school all through your childhood because you went past the store and there it was and you bought it and you had it and it was no problem. And then you went through your teenage years, still no problem. Still going to high school and you're still eating chocolate all the time. Love chocolates, constant. Then you get into your 20s, no problem. Get into your 30s after the third baby. Now all of a sudden you can't have chocolate like that anymore. Every time you have it, you feel you can't have that much. You can have 1 chocolate bar, but not 2 in a day, not 3. Your body has changed. So a lot of times people will say, well, I used to be able to do that. Well, yeah. And you used to not menstruate, and you used to not have children, and you used to not weigh 20 pounds more than you did then. Everything is different. So don't assume that just because you were able to get away with it as a child and have, or as a college student and have many cups of coffee, that you can do that now because it's different. As we age, the body changes. We just have to go with what we know. All right. Joette, you're making me want to eat some chocolate. I know. I adore chocolate. I have to work at staying away from it. Now, the other day I went to the florist, and right next door to the florist, I went to go get some some fronds to put on the package for my new daughter-in-law shower. And next door was the chocolate store. Are you think I could walk past a chocolate store and not stop in and get a little of this, a little of that? Well, I got some. Okay, some sense to lacking much of our population. I know. Balance and common sense. Critical thinking is what's lacking. I placed an order with Washington yesterday and discovered many remedies were unavailable. Arsenicum was one not available until March. Wow, unbelievable. Yeah, I know. You know why? I'll tell you why. Because the world is waking up to homeopathy. I have never seen such a response to the work that I'm putting out there. It's a phenomenon. It's fabulous. Now, somebody just said, yeah, there's a remedy called chocolate. Yes, absolutely. I was part of the chocolate proving that was done back in the, I guess it was in the early 90s. Eat raw cacao with coconut sugar. Raw cacao, it doesn't give us that kind of a reaction. Most people, it does not cause that kind of a problem. It's a bar. It's a minty one. Yeah, it's delicious. All right. Can't get eupatorium in 1M. Do get eupatorium in 1M. So what that means is, I think it's available on Amazon. I could have sworn I just saw it the other day on Amazon. SBL. I don't know what that stands for. I should probably figure that out. But they are a manufacturing pharmacy in India. And I'm going to tell you about them because I've always said don't buy homeopathic medicines from India because we don't know enough about where they're coming from. So SBL and also Jain, Jaine, are both good homeopathic manufacturers that are suddenly showing up on Amazon, which is why I'm bringing it up. And so SBL, I think, had eupatorium, and so you can purchase it from them. You can also get it from directly from OHM. Sometimes and if you can't get it from them because it's not on their site, then email them or call them. Email or call Washington. Email or call Helios, even though they're in England. A lot of these medicines are not on their site, or they take them off because they're running low, and then you have to contact them directly. Thompson's. Yes, thank you. Thompson's in Toronto is another good source of medicines. SBL and Jaine, Jaine. Urias is in the UK. You know, I don't know. I have bought Urias, but I don't know about the reputation. Sometimes I just buy remedies just to know about the pharmacy, buy it, and see how it goes. I like Eupatorium 200C, my friends, and I'm going to be talking about that in what my husband and I just our little illness that we just had last week, and but 1M seems to be a better choice right now at this point in the winter or whatever's going around. Really, England is starting to crank out Banerjee homeopaths. They have some kits on Amazon.
Remember, there's a fake fantasy book out there.
Yeah. Oh, there's also, it came to our attention, there's a fake Banerjee book out there. So please be careful. Just be really careful. Yeah, some other tinctures from SBL, that's good. RX Homeo is another possibility. RX Homeo, yep, these are all good places. Washington, Hahnemann Pharmacy out in California. There's some really good places out here. And okay. Uranus remedies from Amazon, and they work well. Good. Thank you, Nancy, for sharing that. Okay, what I said is I'm going to record tonight, and we're going to try to put it up probably by tomorrow, right, Perry? Yep. What's the fake Banerjee book called, Perry? Well, I think it's called Banerjee. It's the same. It's a scanned copy of the same book, and then there's some issues with it. So you don't want to buy the scanned copy of the Banerjee Protocol book. Buy the book, okay? The Banerjee Protocol book by Prasanta and Prateep Banerjee. All right. Eupatorium 1M is great for a prophylactic once a day in water. And just put it in a few ounces of water, allow it to dissolve, 1 dose, allow it to dissolve, and then take a sip from that every day. That's a great prophylactic. But also, if somebody gets sick, we're going to use Eupatorium 1M in water, and we're going to use it every 3 hours. Okay, when we talked about the effects from sugar being helonious, would that include swollen, painful lymph nodes from eating things high in sugar? All the talk of chocolate reminded me of this. Yes, absolutely, yeah. Because here's the thing: it's ailments from sugar. Does it matter what kind of ailments? It's ailments from sugar. See how when I give you something that's broad like that, it's broad for a reason. I didn't say ailments for sugar, except for those who get swollen lymph nodes. Okay. Um, all right. And I don't know what Hypericum is. I think that's the word you're saying for frozen shoulder. And I used 1M with a friend in a mug, sipped it for aches through the hour. You bet. Did the same for 200 of Eupatorium in a mug. If you look up in your repertory, you look up under influenza, you're going to find that the main medicines are the ones we all talk about. Eupatorium, arsenicum. I should have looked it up quickly so I could remember it off the top of my head. Bryonia, gelsemium. There are not many. And it's very valuable to look those kinds of things up to kind of gird you a little bit further. Well, it looks like we never made it to Facebook, did we, Perry? No go. No go. We are blocked. This is the reason why we started Mighties. We knew it was going to happen one day. We don't know how long this is going to last, of course. But we use Eupatorium 200 water whenever anyone feels it coming on, takes care of it within a few doses. You bet. I just use Eupatorium every 15 minutes. Need to order the 1M. Yes, use what you've got until you can get what you need. And I had been talking about Eupatorium 200 for a long time, but recently it seems to have changed a little bit. It's Hypericum perforatum. I've never seen that typo. Flypericum. Never saw that. As I recall, it says Hypericum perforatum. It must be a typo. Page 78 in the Banerjee book. I'll take a look at it when I can. What about coffee for ADHD? Well, yes, it could be used for ADHD. It certainly could. But you want to see these other symptoms too, so kind of like flesh it out a little bit with your understanding. And Sylvia, we believe, okay, that's a typo. We've been researching this for you. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Natalie says it's a typo. I did not realize that was in that book. See, it's funny because I know the remedy is Hypericum, so probably if I looked at it, I would not have noticed the typo because I just fly over the word and know what it is. I found that the change of weather was a good time for oscillococcinum, and now the actual flu going around responds great to Eupatorium. Yep. Eupatorium for flu? Yes, absolutely, Tracy. Yes, Tracy, says Harry. Okay, oscillococcinum helped my daughter when she felt flu-like symptoms coming on. You know what? You could use oscillococcinum, and you could use eupatorium, and you could use aconitum 200 with bryonia 30. You could use all three of them. You look, if you're getting sick and you're feeling really awful, and I'm not afraid of these illnesses that are going around. It just doesn't worry me. It's just another cough, another cold, another flu. I've been doing this for so long, folks. I'm going to tell you that every couple of years we get hit, we get whacked. The whole country, the world gets whacked with the flu. This didn't seem any different to me in the long run as to the number of people. In the beginning, there was a fear that this was, that this could have been much, much worse. But I don't know. Now, when I go back and I assess and I look at how I got sick, my husband got sick. We got sick in 2020 in the beginning, and now we got sick this year, 2 years later. And I got to tell you that I think that this is just, that's what it is, the flu. Yep. We used aconitum, bryonia, oscillococcinum, and eupatorium. You go, Kay. See, listen, I don't want you to be afraid if you've ever had any classical training to use more than one medicine, because look at our great pharmacies. Look what boron does. Restless legs, or I'm trying to think of something, cold calm. They don't have just one remedy in there. They have four remedies, sometimes five, sometimes only three. Look what Washington does. They come up with these great medicines. Absolutely. They come up with these incredible medicines that are combinations. There's nothing wrong with using these medicines that have 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 remedies. Now, when we get to 20, maybe 10, that's where I kind of draw the line. I really do believe that we want to be a little bit tighter in our decision. We don't want to be too sloppy and just throw everything at it. But if we can tighten it up and say, okay, between one of these three or four, or three of these conditions of the three or four medicines, we're going to see a nice change. Absolutely. Oh, Leanne says, combine the F and the L and you'll get a pseudo H for the typo. Yep. I catch everything, so I get to taste all the, I'm not sure I understand, the flus. Okay. How far apart do we take them? Within a few minutes of each other. Eupatorium, put it aside. A few minutes later, maybe wait a little while. Don't have it still in your mouth. Let your body absorb it as well as it possibly can. When it's eupatorium and it's in water, you take a sip. Hold it in your mouth. Let it kind of swish around into your mouth. Now, look, if that doesn't happen, then you give it to someone and they just slurp it down. It can still do good work. All right. So, COVID killer, nausea 1M twice a day, and Querbraco 30, 2 to 4 times a day. Thank you, Leanne. I'm not familiar with Querbraco. I've never used it. Nausea has a lot to do with the vascular issues. Okay. And swish. That's what I do. Saliva has its benefits. You bet. Okay. Perry said it's a scanned copy. That's what it is. It's a scanned copy of the Banerjee Protocol book, and then they've made some changes in it, right, Perry?
No, the scan didn't pick up all the words correctly.
Oh, the scan did not pick up all the words correctly. How long will eupatorium stay fresh in the bottle? Well, it might not if you've got a good amount of water in there. So drop in some vodka. That'll hold it in place. If not, just till it looks like it's might be going bad, and throw it out and start over again. Because when you think about it, you're using 4 to 5 pills as a dose into the water, or if you're buying it in liquid, you're just using a few drops, and you're putting it in the water, and you're taking several doses throughout the day. It's very inexpensive, so you can afford to throw some of it out, or throw it out and start over again. Roost talks for the deep body aches and pains during C. Yes, that's exactly what I'm going to be talking about. Perry's the man, says Harry. um, Okay, Joe, and I gave someone your Carbo-Veg 6 and Arsenicum 6 for mask breathing issues, and it helped a lot. I'm so glad to hear that, Donna. Yes, Roost Tox was amazing for our family too. Yeah, I took Roost Tox, and it did help with the aches and pains. But I'm also going to tell you that Eupatorium is really great for aches and pains that feel like they're like the bones are breaking. Read up on Eupatorium. It's really fascinating. The pains during flu can be so painful that it feels that the bones are breaking. Thank you. I will pray for us. See, what are we talking about here? When might you use a coffee for anxiety? When you see a little bit of that coffee picture. I'm glad you brought us back to that because I do want to, that is an important question. When you see a specific picture, what's the picture? The person is talking too quickly and they're really worried and oh my gosh, what's the world coming to? And what if we all die? And what if this and what if that? And holy cow, and I can't sleep. And it's that kind of anxiety. And that also, by the way, sounds a lot like arsenicum too, doesn't it? Except that there and you're going to see, you might see more heart stuff going on. Maybe the heart is racing or palpitations or something like that. That's also a very good indicator. But if you read coffea and then you read arsenicum, you're going to see there's somewhat of a difference. Arsenicum is very fussy and particular, and they can't stand to see a picture that's a little off the wall. They're taking sips of water, just not a whole long drink, just a sip of water. And arsenicum gets weak. They feel very, very weakened. Coffea, not so much. Okay. Monica says, yes, Michelle, Roost 1M. Roost Tox 1M was the only thing that worked for my aches and pains. That's exactly what I used was 1M for mine too. When it comes to Roost Tox and I've aches and pains, whether it's from arthritis from time to time, or maybe I've, spent too much time working in the garden or something like that. And I can feel my joints are achy or my tendons are achy, muscles. I don't bother with Roost Tox 200. I go right to 1M. Waking and can't fall back to sleep. This is the way you want to think about this. Waking and can't fall back to sleep. Are you thinking? A lot of people say, no, I'm not thinking of anything. I'm not busy. I just can't sleep. Well, then it's a little less likely, perhaps, not be coffea. Could be, but coffea is more about they wake up and they're thinking and busy thoughts jumping all around their brain. All righty. Let's just see. I think we've got it. Roost Tox 1M is a physical therapist stream. You're absolutely right, Leanne. All right, I think we've put enough time into tonight, which is really great. I just want to make sure that you got a good amount of information and carry on. No worries, my friends. This is right where we're supposed to be. At home, studying, perhaps in a group. This is what we need to do in our lives right now. This is it. We need to know these medicines, own these medicines, buy them, learn about them, study, join a study group if you're not. One of our gateway study groups they're fantastic. We have study groups forming constantly. Last week, we had 149 groups form in 1 week. In 1 week. So I want you to start thinking about that because even if you've already been through a study group, you might want to do it again and again and again and again. Why? Because you get to know people. And then you have someone you can contact if you have trouble. Yes, your fellow students. This is what we need, my friends. This is the way we're going to keep this tapestry going. Because when and if what hits the fan, and the industry is showing the signs of death, at least partially, we need to have what we know is most important, and that is autonomy, critical thinking, homeopathy for our medicine, educate ourselves, and teaching the young. And so I love you all. Thank you for inviting me into your home tonight, and I will see you next week. And it looks like we may not be on Facebook for a while. God bless all of you. Mwah. Good night.